members, shout out to my Patreon. Y'all are the real MVPs. I'm going to be trying to do some special things for y'all in this new year because y'all have definitely been riding with me. If you would like to join my Patreon, it's very simple. All you have to do is go to www.patreon.com/bstokestyling and make your pledge. $5, $10, or $25. Currently, I'm trying to get to 20 Patreons, you guys. So make sure you help me reach my goal by clicking the link down in my description box and joining my Patreon. You do not want to miss out on the early access to my videos. Don't forget to order your custom Be-Stoked Styling merch. That's right, we have merch. Just click the link down below in the description box and order your Be-Stoked Styling merch today. Hey, welcome. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I was sitting here sharing because y'all already know sharing is caring. So I was trying to get some people in here. We got a few things to talk about. It's going to be a little bit of a heavier live stream than I normally have, but I'm going to try to start this thing off light and then we'll get into the heavy topic. So y'all stick with me. Hi, Miss Morton. I see you here on time. And yes, I do have merch. If you all do not know, I do have merch. I have custom face masks, leggings, and yes, you see my little coffee cup here. On the back it says have a beautiful day. Take me a sip and get ready for this conversation that we're going to have today. So before we get started, again, make sure that you like the video as you come in. If you can, please share the video out with your community. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started here in a second. Please let me know where you're watching from. We are streaming on 3 platforms right now. We're live on Facebook, on my Be-Stoked Styling YouTube channel, as well as my backup channel, Busy Bee Buzz Topics. So please let me know where you are watching from. and we're going to go ahead and get started. The first, since I want to kind of start off a little light. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Since we're going to start off a little bit light, I do want to talk about Porsha Williams. If you have not been paying attention, they dropped the Real Housewives of Atlanta, reunion trailer yesterday. And shortly after dropping the reunion trailer, Porsha posted that she would be going live on Instagram. So a lot of things happened in the last maybe 24, 48 hours as it pertains to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. A article came out on vulture.com detailing a scene that was cut out of the show. And in this scene, it is Porsha and Kandi getting into it over a dispute on Black Lives Matter, and how Kandi went to the network to kind of give her grievances and tell the network how they could do better with supporting the movement. So I'm going to pull up the article really quick and read it to y'all, and then I'm going to also let you hear some of Porsha's response. So, excuse me, I'm sorry. Let me pull it up. I'm sorry. I see we have one of our Patreons in the building. Shout out to Clifton, our Patreon. While I'm pulling up this article, let's give a shout out to our Patreons, because they are the real MVPs. Remember, shout out to my Patreon. Y'all are the real MVPs. I'm going to be trying to do some special things for y'all in this new year, because y'all have definitely been riding with me. If you would like to join my Patreon, it's very simple. All you have to do is go to www.patreon.com/bstokestyling and make your pledge. $5, $10, or $25. Currently, I'm trying to get to 20 Patreons, you guys. So make sure you help me reach my goal by clicking the link down in my description box and joining my Patreon. You do not want to miss out on the early access to my videos. All right, so I have the article pulled up. I'm trying to get to the part, because it's an article where they're talking about just the Bravo Liberties as a whole, not just Porsha or Kandi. They're talking about kind of Bravo as a whole. So here it is. So you have to kind of scroll down a bit, but I'll read it to y'all, and then we'll get further into the conversation. It says, the Real Housewives of Atlanta has always been centered on Black women's stories, which made for a uniquely successful reality TV depiction of the Black Lives Matter movement. We didn't say it was a mandate in Atlanta that we somehow include Black Lives Matter in the show, Cohen says. This is what the women were doing, so we will always follow the story of what women are doing. RHOA has been one of the network's highest rated series since it debuted in 2008. The cast is now entirely Black, which has allowed the women to discuss social issues with at least some common understanding. It helps that the RHOA cast includes some of the funniest women on television. Their casual roast over lunch would be a tentpole fight on other franchises. So then it goes on to say, Porsha Williams, who joined the show in 2012, is the granddaughter of civil rights leader Hosea Williams and found her voice as an activist following the killing of Breonna Taylor. She tested poorly in her early seasons, committing sins ranging from refusing to join the other women at a strip club to confusing the Underground Railroad with a literal train. Kaplan says she is now, according to the data, one of the most beloved housewives across all the cities, which earned her a second gig co-hosting Bravo's Chat Room, the late chat show that follows Watch What Happens Live on Sunday. All season long, Williams has showcased her activism, including multiple arrests, without missing the single opportunity to shade a castmate. All of it felt equally authentic. Popular long-running cast members enjoy the influence their status entails, extending to the corporate level. In the summer of 2020, Bravo planned to stream conversations about race and racism on the network's website and Instagram. When Kandi Burruss, an original star of Real Housewives of Atlanta, heard about the idea, she wrote an email to Levine saying there were some changes she would like to see at the network, starting with the idea that any special about racism should air on TV in prime time and feature popular cast members involved with the movement. We always see Bravo Liberties, Burris says. Those are our friends in our heads. So what I was saying to Shari is, if people have the opportunity to hear their friends in their head say, yeah, we even deal with these situations, then it'll help them look at it differently. The result was a televised special named Race in America, a movement, not a moment. An election episode, Race in America, Our Vote Counts, followed. It happened quick, Burr says of Levine's response. It wasn't like he twiddled his fingers and just blew smoke up my ass. Levine brought in Dorothy Torin, an executive producer, Leslie Farrell, who produced Southern Charm before leaving the network to create Peabody and Emmy-winning documentary on race and poverty. Farrell could manage the blah, blah. Okay, so we're going to go on past all that because I want to get to the part where they get into it. So then it says, Burr shared the contents of her letter with her castmates, including Williams, Tanya Sams, and Marlo Hampton. She also discussed it with former co-star Nene Leakes, who in the fall of 2020 accused Cohen and the network of racism before announcing she would be leaving the show. Burris expected the other women to be pleased, but in a separate exchange over text messages, then expressed annoyance. They expressed annoyance that Burris had gone to Levine without telling them. Burris didn't understand why a private professional correspondence needed to be run past her castmates and was particularly bothered that Williams was not supportive. They say they were upset because I did not include them, she tells me. But we all have our way that we are helping with the movement. The fight was leaked to the blogs. Suddenly, a nuanced disagreement about activism was being processed through reality show storylines. Burris decided to confront Williams on camera. Williams declined to comment for this story, but in an Instagram live posted after publication, she said that she went to producers and asked them not to air the scene because we as Black women should not be arguing on this show about Black Lives Matter. Bravo declined to comment further. It says the exchange did not air, but a different scene in which co-star Kenya Moore sniped that Williams was getting arrested for attention made the cut. In an interview, Moore reiterated her position. Portia wanted to be the only one that was the face of the movement for TV purposes. Viewers and Moore's co-stars thought the dig was in poor taste. Portia questioned whether Kenya's body is real. To the fans, funny shade, Bailey says. Kenya questioning Portia's activism is a little more of a serious trigger. No one feels like it's funny to question that, whether it's a valid question or not. All right, so that's essentially the issue, what happened between them. Portia felt it important to go on live last night. She did about a 45-minute live where she addressed it. She said that, her issue was that she did not want to address this because she did not want to be seen fussing and arguing over Black Lives Matter, but she felt like she had to address this Vulture interview specifically because it was misinformation. So I'm going to pull that up for y'all. As a matter of fact, let me pull it up I have it pulled up on the app, but let me pull it up on this so that y'all can hear it. I be having sound issues when I use the app. Learning the trick for StreamYard. We're not going to play the entire 35 minutes. We're not going to play the entire 35 minutes, but I am going to give you the gist of it. Let's pull it up on the screen for you.
Article my involvement with Black Lives Matter. Okay. The article is vulture.com. Anyway, in the article, I'm sure you guys have seen online where Kenya, she's been questioning my activism. She's been having some things to say. Her opinion, okay? All her opinion. It is what it is. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to please everyone. Everybody doesn't know your heart. I've never had a sit-down conversation with her about why my efforts are what they are in concerning criminal justice and Black Lives Matter. So however she feels, it's cool with me. Honestly, it really is cool with me. The reason I'm bringing this up is because there are some things that are in this article that are said to be facts, and they are not facts. These same things have been repeated on Speak On It on Candy's show. These same things have been repeated by Kenya on various outlets where they say there is a scene that was deleted, edited out, or not aired on Bravo because I asked for it to be taken out, right? Now, we know that a lot of housewives, they have power over the years and they may be able to go and ask the heads to take something out, right? It is what it is. I have worked very hard to get to where I am in life. I've worked very hard on this show. And if I've gotten to a place where I can call the execs up.
I'm pausing it right here real quick because I do want to, I want y'all to listen to what she's saying because I found it a little contradictory. So I want to see if it's just me. I just want y'all to listen. I ain't trying to lead y'all, but I want y'all to listen to what she's saying. So she said that the article said that she called up the execs to get this scene edited out. And she's addressing that particular rumor specifically. So I just want y'all to listen. Before I do, I want to say hi to Brittany Robinson, one of our Patreons. Shout out to our Patreons. If you would like to join the Patreon, the link is in the description box. Also, shout out to Crystal Floyd. Kenya is always messy and shady. She gets on my nerves. I concur. All right, so we're going to continue listening to what Portia has to say. If you're just entering, please don't forget to hit the like button. If you're on Facebook, hit the like button, hit the love button. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button, please. All right, and we're going to continue on.
And get something taken out, so be it, right? However, in this particular situation, the way that Kenya is putting it out there that I asked the Bravo execs to not play a scene of Candy and I having an argument, having a fight, me dogging Candy about her efforts is concerning Black Lives Matter is simply not true. What happened was, we're going to take it from the beginning. Nene, who was on our show, it's, at that last season, Nene was on the show. Y'all know who the cast is. Anyway, Nene was doing an article and she sent some private text messages to a particular blogger, and the blogger put out the text messages and they were received out of context. The text messages, the way the blogger put it out there was that that Candy went behind the cast back and went to Bravo to try to get some programming done without telling us, which blindsided us and which should make Candy look bad. So Candy got upset with that, and Candy decided to confront me about it on Housewives. So the whole season has happened. I mean, the beginning of the season happened, and I had not seen any of the cast. This was my first scene with the cast, which was Todd's birthday. I walked into Todd's birthday, and I was told Candy wanted to question me about something. And I said, okay, that's fine. I haven't done anything. Happy to answer any of her questions. As soon as I walked into the party, Candy wanted to ask me about these texts. There are some texts out there that, you're talking about what I was trying to get done for Black Lives Matter, etc. We were having a decent conversation. It was nothing to be upset about. And I thought, okay, this is fine because I have the text messages to prove that I never dogged you out.
All right,
fully supportive of you, Candy.
Can't read them, but
Black Lives Matter.
I think she ended up posting
and whatever you're doing for our people. I love it. I'm right here for you. So anyway, the scene continues. Kenya comes over. It turns into an argument. So at that moment, I decide, you know what? This isn't a good look. We as Black women should not be arguing on this show about Black Lives Matter. That is not what we need to do. I know we have done things in the past that other Black women have said, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. But to me, I register that as real life. If you have real life drama with a woman, you have real life drama. However, when it came to Black Lives Matter, I have a certain responsibility. All of us Black women on this show who are wanting to use our platform for these families who don't have the voice that we have. I have the opportunity. I'm not pressured to talk about Black Lives Matter on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I feel the responsibility, and it's an opportunity for me to speak for these families. It is something that is very connected to my spirit, and it is the way I show love to my people to speak up for them. So I am blessed to have this platform to speak about it. And so is Candy and anyone else who wants to do so. So I did not want us to be on Real Housewives, even if it was just a misunderstanding, because clearly I have the text. Even if it could have been cleared up, I just didn't like the way it was going to come off. Because, I don't have power over editing. Nobody does. So at the end of the day, if they decide to chop it up, or maybe it just didn't show right, and I didn't want the narrative to be out there that Black women on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, instead of being responsible, doing something for the community and being effective, instead we're on there arguing about what Candy did or what Portia didn't do or what Nene didn't do. Okay? So
at this point, I just want to say, though, that I respect Portia. I think I agree with Mr. Moore in the chat that I don't believe that Portia's involvement in the movement is anything but pure. She is doing this out the kindness of her heart. You can tell it just even in the way that she delivers things. When she's talking specifically about these issues, her delivery is completely sincere. It's completely, her tone changes, her aura changes. And so I do believe her, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to her being genuine about it. And I think that Kenya was extremely out of pocket for questioning it in any way. And like Mr. Maureen is saying here, she was arrested and all. Ain't nobody out here getting arrested for clout. Well, yeah, people do a lot of things for clout, but ain't nobody out here getting arrested for clout. So I wanted to make that point clear. And also I agree with her when she's saying that this is not something that should have been aired on the show. Them arguing about how the movement should have been handled with the executives and stuff. That's not something that should be handled on the show. I agree with her. So let's continue to hear what she has to say.
I went to Bravo. They decided, after I explained everything to them, that they've agreed, you know what? I don't think that would be a good look. That is not the purpose we want in showing the Black experience and what you guys are going through with Black Lives Matter.
So, and I'm just pausing it here, and then we're going to, and I'm only going to play a little bit more because we're going to get off of this. She does admit to going to the executives and giving her opinion on why that particular scene should not have been aired, and they agreed and did not air it. Now, does that mean that Portia went there and asked them to not air it, asked them to take it out because she has so much pull and power with the production company, with the executives, and she didn't want to look bad? Or was she doing it for a bigger purpose, like we were saying, to not tarnish the look of the Black Lives Matter? Honestly, I believe the latter, but it's up to everybody's interpretation. But what I do want to address again is why I said it sounds just a tiny bit contradictory, is because she said that in the beginning, she said that she did not go there to ask them. She did not go. It was completely false that she went there to get them to edit it out. But she does admit to talking to the executives, and after talking to them, they edited it out. So you did kind of go there, even if your reason is pure. You did kind of go to the executives to get it edited out. Y'all get what I'm saying? I'm not blaming her for it. I'm just saying. Y'all drop down in the comments. Y'all tell me what you think. Crystal says, I appreciate Portia for using her platform for Black Lives Matter. I completely do. And she's still out there. Exactly. All right. We're gonna she goes on. I think I'm gonna stop it here. But she goes on and she reads the receipt. So if you want to see the full, if you want to see the full live, it's on her IGTV. She saved it. She goes on to read the full text exchange between herself, Nene, and Candy, and how it was all just a misunderstanding, and that she wanted them to go to the executives to show like a united front about whatever the issues were. But since they didn't do that, they decided to pivot their efforts, and the ladies who were not included with Candy in the beginning decided to ask Bravo to do like a fundraiser or something. So that's what they ended up doing. She says that she completely supports Candy. She goes on to really bash, I'm not going to say bash, but she definitely goes on to blame the confusion and this like confusion in the media on Kenya. She says that, it's Kenya's doing basically, and that's why it's coming off the way it is. She says she respects Candy and what she's done. Candy works more on the inclusion and like executive side, whereas Candy's working more on like that side, whereas she's working on like policy and out there in the actual streets, and that both are needed. So I agree with her, and I appreciate that she decided to come out and make it clear, make it known, because like she says, it's just not a good look for them to be on TV arguing about Black Lives Matter, especially with everything that's going on. Cliff says, I agree with her stance. A confrontation on a subject of this magnitude can display as a front that's not united and have negatively televised connotation of the movement. I completely agree. So I don't like I said, I agree. And then so this is just going to segue us into really what I wanted to talk about today. I did not really want to get on here and do a whole bunch of celebrity gossip today, because this week has been a very heavy week. This week has been filled with many stories that are centered around Black Lives Matter and the police brutality and injustices that have been going on. And it's sickening. Like at this point, it's just sickening, and we got to talk about it. So before I continue on, I am going to drop the link down. If you would like to come up here and talk, please feel free. This is a place to vent, because honestly, you guys, I was sitting okay. Every week I try to get together like my topics and what I want to talk to y'all about. And I did not want to come on here and have a heavy live. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. But it's like every day it's something else, so it's the trial with Chauvin. Okay, we have his trial going on, and then the Shade Room is keeping us very posted with that, with everybody that's testifying, and the lies and the misdirection and the things that they're trying to do to undermine Derek Chauvin's blatant murdering, all those things. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to talk about. I haven't even watched the trial. Honestly, I've been getting my updates from the Shade Room, because the last trial that I watched was the Trayvon Martin trial. Actually, no. It was what was the trial with in Ferguson? I can't was that Michael Brown? It's been so many, which is so sad to say. But the Ferguson trial was the last trial that I watched. And after that, I cannot for my mental sanity, I can't watch these trials. It's gaslighting at its finest. So I can't. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to keep updates with that. And then shortly after that, we have the fatal shooting of the young man again in Minnesota, right down the street from the trial, Mr. Dwayne Wright. And then I see a video of a Army lieutenant fully in uniform getting stopped, getting pepper sprayed, and having guns pointed at him over a traffic stop. Then I see a white soldier down in South Carolina accosting a young Black man. Then I see a 13-year-old boy, Adam Toledo, being shot in Chicago. And it's like, how can I get on my live and talk about all the pettiness of the Real Housewives and all of this stuff and not discuss these things that's going on and discuss what it's doing to us as a people? I'm tired of having to have these type of conversations. I think this is only the second live on my channel that has specifically centered around the Black Lives Matter movement. But how many times do we have? I mean, we literally had a full uprising last year, and in a year's time, what has changed? What has changed? And it's sickening. I pulled an article from NPR, and it's a very lengthy article. I'm not going to. I read it, but it's a 5 minute. Well, let's see if I can play it, and we'll just listen to it. But I pulled an article from NPR, and it talks about these police shootings. It goes into very deep detail about the number of police shootings there have been of Black people specifically since 2014, how many convictions it's been. And I want to make something clear, because not all of the police shootings are by white officers. Some of them are done by Black officers, which raises an even more nuanced thing, which is why it's this Black Lives versus Blue Lives Matter thing. It's not, because it's not just, it's the systematic oppression of it all. You get what I'm saying? It's the system of it all. Also, I don't know if y'all have ever heard of that psychological experiment where they took maybe like a group of, I don't remember the number, but let's just say they took a group of 40 people, and they split the 40 people into two groups of 20. One set of the people were inmates, the other set were correction officers, and the dynamics that happened. And once these correction officers took this position of power, many of those people treated the alleged, the play convicts differently, and as if they were less than. And sometimes that's the power dynamic that we have right here with the people that are supposed to protect and serve us. Now, before I play this, I want to make it clear, because I am not saying, like, I'm not a defund the police person. I have family that's law enforcement, so I've seen it from both sides. However, I think that there is a bigger issue with the fact that people are able to get, like, the article cites, let me see if I can find the statistic, but the article cites that many of these officers that have been in these type of shootings that have killed someone have had prior history of complaints of excessive use of force that is not even their first shooting, and things like that are going unchecked within their own system. And that's a problem. And we need to start talking about that and calling that out. So we're going to, I want us to listen to this NPR article really quick, because I just found it extremely interesting, some of the statistics that they were breaking down. And then I'll bring anyone up who would like to talk. Let me share my screen. Hold on. It's just so aggravating. It's just, it's draining is what it is. It's draining. And it's almost like, before I continue really quick, it's almost like mental slavery. It's like, I feel like we're seeing these images, and these images are getting pushed down our throats, almost in an attempt to say, well, you see what happens when you when you say something. You know what I'm saying? Just sit down and shut up. All right. Let me play this, and then, yeah.
Support for NPR and the following message come from Block Advisors by H&R Block. Karen Orozco and Kathy Pickering have helped small businesses navigate the challenges of tax season for years. Click the play button to hear them discuss some of the questions business owners have this year and how an advisor can help provide answers.
Police shot a Black man in Killeen, Texas earlier this month. And there's something we'd like you to pay attention to in this case, an important detail. The man killed, Patrick Lynn Warren, was unarmed when he was fatally shot by an officer. NPR has identified the shooting deaths of 135 unarmed Black men and women by police over the past 5 years. Cheryl W. Thompson of NPR's Investigations Unit reviewed thousands of pages of police investigative reports, personnel records, court records, and other documents that shed a light on the cases and the officers involved. And Cheryl joins me now. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Rachel. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
What were some of your key findings?
Rachel, I found that for at least 15 officers, this was not their first or their last shooting. Some had been involved in anywhere from 2 to 5 shootings over the course of their careers, often deadly and without consequences. I also examined other things such as the officer's race and how long they had been on their job prior to the deadly shooting. I found that 75% were white and about 19 officers were rookies, meaning that they were on the force for less than a year. One cop actually was on the job for 4 hours before he killed someone, and another for 4 days. And a couple of other patterns emerged too, Rachel. About 25% of the killings happened during traffic stops, and nearly 20% of the victims suffered from mental health issues. I also discovered that some of the officers had troubled past, including drug use and domestic violence. At least one had been fired from another law enforcement agency, and 2 others had been forced out.
I would like to pick up on something you said just at the top of that answer, that the 15 officers were involved in more than one shooting. How does that happen?
It happens, Rachel, when officers are allowed to stay on the force after even one shooting and stay on the street. Look, it's no secret that police officers have a dangerous job, but being involved in a deadly shooting is unusual. I spoke with Peter Scharf. He's a criminology professor at Louisiana State University and studies use of force among police officers.
It's rare for police officers involved in any shooting, that the vast number of police officers are never involved in a fatal use of deadly force.
But I found in one case a Detroit officer involved in 5 shootings. 2 were on duty and 3 were off duty. And each time he was exonerated, including his last shooting in 2017, when he fatally shot an unarmed 19-year-old who crashed a car into a building and ran. After that shooting, Rachel, one of the first people the officer called was his union steward.
The union steward. So making some connections here, does that help explain why it's hard to hold these officers accountable?
It does help explain that. That's one of the reasons police rarely lose their jobs. Those union contracts often shield them from accountability. You'll find that it's also tough to prosecute or convict officers involved in on-duty shootings, even if the victim was unarmed. I talked to Philip Stinson, a former police officer who's a criminal justice professor at Bowling Green State University in Ohio. He says that police officers often aren't convicted because of judges and juries who give them the benefit of the doubt.
Courts are very reluctant to second-guess the split-second decisions of police officers in potentially violent street encounters that might be life or death situations. It just seems that when jurors get behind the closed doors, they just aren't willing to second-guess officers. They somehow seem to take everything that's been presented in the trial and disregard the legal standards.
That's exactly what happened in numerous cases I examined, Rachel. And in some, it never gets that far. In San Bernardino County, California, the district attorney refused to charge a sheriff's deputy in 2 separate shootings of unarmed men in 3 years. That cop remains on the force, though the victim's family sued and was awarded $33.5 million. It's one of the largest payouts for a police shooting in the country. I also found officers who probably should never have been hired at all.
What do you mean? Was there something in their background that was some kind of red flag?
Indeed. I found one man in a small town in Georgia who was rejected by a police department because he didn't respond truthfully to several questions during a truth verification exam. But then he went 8 miles down the road to another small town and was hired. And he was hired even after admitting on his background questionnaire of being involved in domestic violence and assault, selling or buying drugs. And there were other red flags. And within a few months after he was hired, there were complaints about threatening behavior by him and racial profiling of Black residents. And 11 months into the job, he shot and killed an unarmed Black man. He was charged with manslaughter, but was found not guilty. Instead, Rachel, he was found guilty of violating the oath of public office and sentenced to a year in prison and 4 years probation. He was released last May after serving 7 months.
Cheryl W. Thompson of NPR's investigations team. Cheryl, we appreciate your reporting and your work on this subject. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
And now more from NPR.
All right. So that was just like a quick summary of the article. I forgot to leave the link in the description box, but if y'all would like to read the article, I'll probably go back and drop it in the comments or in the description box after the live, because it's a very interesting article. They go quite in depth of numbers, with the numbers of shootings, with some of the things that people have had in their history. Like she said, many of those officers had history of domestic violence, of assault, of drug abuse, and things like that, and still being able to be on the force. Some people who have been in these deadly shootings, turning around, leaving their county and going to a separate county and becoming an officer again, just to go on and continue to do it. The issue that we're having is that these officers, when this is happening, I mean, of course, the issue is it happening, but then afterward, not being held accountable. And so I feel like there is a part of it that has to be changed from the system, as in them being allowed to just get away with these public lynchings, because that's what it is. But also, we need to be, when these things happen, there needs to be consequences so that these aren't continuously happening. Tiff, I'm going to bring you in. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready. And let me see. Clifton has a comment. Says officers should be required to have full psychiatric evaluations along with their background checks, and should not be allowed to patrol in their first year, and only be allowed through recommendations from superior officers in good standing. And while I agree, also when we're talking about this police officer that just killed Mr. Wright here in Minneapolis, she was training an officer. She was a 26-year veteran of the force. 26-year veteran training an officer. So if this is the type of training that you're giving, we're damn from the beginning. Hi, Tiff, thank you for joining.
Hey, how are you? Thank you for having me to join. I just wanted to come on real quick because this has been a week. Okay. I'm like, I'm in a twilight zone. Like, it's just like every day is something, you know. But if you notice I know it can be depressing to some people, but if you notice on social media, when you're trying to get the word out and trying to have change, that's drowned by nonsense.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't even remember following these people, but I see damn near porn on my feed. I'm like, what is this? When there's other information that I want to see, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to see the actual crime and stuff, but I want to follow the story. I want to see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like as if I would Google it. But I noticed that social media would drown that out, you know? So they're doing a lot of censorship. It's a lot of censorship, a lot of drowning people's voices out. Like, this is what we want to hear so we can know how we can help. You know what I'm saying? I also noticed that, and I pulled up the article just to make sure I was certain that the cop that killed Mr. Wright, Potter, she's like, her house is boarded. You know?
What?
They basically gated her house and put up concrete to protect her, the officer that shot him.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess it's because they know that she was released on, you know, bond. I think she was $100,000 bond, and she was released. So they're already like, okay, we gotta protect her. It's defense. But it's like, what's the protection when you have the public out there and there's the officer that's harming him? You know, like the George Floyd situation. What happened to that? What happens to the protection of that? You protecting your officer that did harm, but you're not protecting the people. I thought that's what you're there for, you know?
That's the purpose.
It's it's crazy because I'm just like, every time like my fiance go outside, I'm just like,
and you shouldn't have to live like that for the people that are legitimately supposed to help. Like when you're in trouble, these are the people that you're supposed to call, not when you get pulled over. You are legitimately in fear of your life for a tag that could be wrong or something.
Right. It's scary. Like I'm like, oh, make sure you just keep your license in your cup holder. It's like, really? Mama said, what you tell him? I said, to keep his license in a cup holder. Do not put it in your back pocket. Do not put it where you have to reach. Do not put it where you have to pull, like tug at it like this, because I can't. You know what I mean? Like, please put it where it's like bird eye view, like you see me right here. And it's just so sad. It's like, are we really still going through this? Like, did last year not teach us from anything?
You know what's sad is that that's the mindset that we have to have. But I'm going to show a video that's going to show you that this is more this is what I'm talking about with that psychological bondage of Black people that they're continuously pushing. Because I'm going to show you a video that shows that other people don't have to go through this. Moments with Mickey, while I'm pulling this up, says, I wonder if we have a better chance at convicting if the story doesn't go viral. And I feel like no. Because if you're not going to convict and everybody is seeing it, you're not even going to charge when people when no one knows about it. So let me pull up this video, because I saw this on Facebook the other day, and I was like, you got to be effing kidding me. Like, is this a share audio? Okay, y'all ready? Y'all ready for this?
Just keep put your hands up. No. Hey, get out of the car. Whoa! There are rights to this. There are rights to this. Get out. Right there. My hands are up. My hands are up. No, you got body cam. Give a body cam, sir. I will send this dog on you. I will shoot you. Don't! You have rights too. You have rights too. Don't you care? You have rights to get out. Don't you care? You know yes, go. You listen to me. This is also constitutional. Body cam. Can you quit yelling so I can talk to you? I need you to relax for me. I will shoot you because that's a threat. Body cam. You know this. My hands are open. You need to get out of the car. I do not. You cannot go. It is constitutionally owned. I see that. Do you have any certificate? It's not concealed. Yes, you can. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do me a favor. Just please step out of the car. That's all we're asking you to do. Yes. Just give me your weapon, please. No. This is how we act civilly. You know? Right eye. Right eye. You got cover? No. Yes, we do. Don't. Just please. Do you have body cam? Please. Do you have body cam? Do not force the camera. Do not. Don't. Do it. Don't. You know that. It's not. Please. I need you to get out of the car. Hey, I see double blue, sir. Are you going to shoot me on double blue? Just relax. No, just relax. Hey, please get out of the car. There's rights to this. You know there are rights to this. Listen, we can figure this out. We can talk about this, okay? But right now, we can't talk about it with you not listening to us. All I'm asking you to do. You're violating my rights right now. Let go of me. You just put your hand on a gun, sir. Whoa. No, you pulled a gun on me unconstitutionally. And I did in response. We don't want to do this, man. Just get out of the car. I'm just asking. We'll get this figured out. Just come out and just get out of the car. You release me now. You can't do that. Release it. I have Second Amendment rights. Okay. Just get out. Come back here. We'll talk about it. This right here is the reason to get myself cast doctrine. You know that. We'll get this figured out. Don't do it, please. Come on. Get out of the car, sir. Just get out of the car. Just step out. No, just step out. Just step out of the car. Don't do it. Sorry. You're on double blue. You know what's going to happen, right? Just stop. You need to get out of the car. That's a lawful order. You're going to go to jail. A gunpoint. Oh, take me to jail. That's right. Just come on. You're obstructing. I can't. No, you're obstructing. You're pointing a gun at me, sir. Right now, my life's in threat. Okay. Well, we have. I don't see body cam on this, sir. I'm just going to drive away. I'm not going to bother anybody. No, you're not. On the seat. Don't do this. Don't do it. Don't.
I saw that video the other day.
He just drove off.
Yeah. He just drove off. I saw that video the other day, and I was sitting there like, are you that was a 3-minute and some change video of a man in his car with a gun, touched his gun on cops, refusing to comply, and drives off to live to tell the story.
Not pepper sprayed, not shot, anything. Anything of the sort. Not gun didn't go off at any type.
No tasers.
No taser, nothing.
And so when these type of videos are surfacing, how can there be people questioning what's happening right before our eyes? I don't watch many of these videos because, again, I'm very easily triggered. So I don't watch many of these videos.
That's the same with me.
But without watching them, you know what happened on the videos because it's everywhere. So it's my understanding that Mr. Wright, this young man who just was killed in Minneapolis, he tried to drive off as well. And with people in the car, and was still shot and killed by someone who claimed or who they are claiming made a mistake and mistook a gun for a taser after 26 years on the force and training another officer at the time. And we're supposed to believe it.
But it's on opposite sides. You have your side where you have the gun, and you have a side where you have your taser, because it's more, I guess it's like a more force, a more excessive force than the other. So you should know your right and your left. You know what I'm saying? You know what you're
26 years.
Okay, you know what you're pulling here. Stop playing. But I know this may not be, I don't know, correct in the eyes of African American people, but unfortunately, because of how the cards are, and the cards have not changed, would we rather be here or not? Would we rather raise our children or not? So unfortunately, we got to teach our nieces and nephews and children and husband and wives and stuff how to act accordingly. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know that once our skin is this, that it's like, listen, do I want to make it home? I know this is not right, but do I want to make it home? And even when we do comply, it's still some mess. It's still some mess. You know what I mean? So it's so hard to say, well, just comply. It's still really, really hard, but I drill into my family's head, like, listen, we have to act differently, unfortunately, right now. Unfortunately, right now, it's like we have to act differently because I want you to come home. Right. And it's like, why would we even have to? It's like, this man didn't act differently. He was like, I am about to drive off. I am about to drive off.
He said, the man said, I'm going to sit this dog on you. He said, and I'm going to shoot you. In what world? In what world? And again, I agree that it's what's sad is that I think they on This Is Us a few years ago, they actually had like a little scene addressing this, where you have the Black family having to teach their children how to act around officers. And this is I remember it was controversial at the time because there were white people who were just like, is that a real conversation? It's a real conversation. And what's even sadder is the age that you have to tell your children this age when they should still have innocence, but you have to coach because this last little boy, 13 years old, who was it? Tamir Rice was what, 12? So what? We have to start teaching them at 9?
Younger than that.
And tell me, I need to understand, when you have been, you've gone through the academy, you've been trained. What is this training that you are fearful for your life from a 13-year-old? How, like, I don't understand. Cliff says they should have to go through quarterly training that encompasses extremist rationale, identifying and combating personal bias, and lethal and non-lethal measures. But they don't need any more lethal training. They got the lethal down.
For real. They pulling before they even ask for your license or anything. They pulling first.
With this this video of the young boy, and he's not a black boy, he is brown. I think he's Mexican, but it's still the same because it's not right. I want to say that the body cam footage is about 1 minute and 45 seconds before this young man is killed. What kind of, let me see, picks up in less than 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes in this video before this young man is killed. What kind of measures were taken to try to disarm this situation, to try to de-escalate this situation in 2 minutes? Make it make sense.
Right. But there's there's also a thing of where I guess they're paying all these settlements to families, the hush hush money.
I want
right?
to talk about that.
Because you want to keep the officer on the force, and you want it to go away, and you're paying all this money. Well, they're hiring these people and not doing the background checks because they are limited staff. You know what I mean? Besides people that are, and this conversation actually was had on Lovely T's on her page. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. And I didn't realize this in Minnesota, how their police force is like shrinking by the day. Like there's just no police, so they just hire anybody. And their first thing is shoot. You know what I'm saying? They're like, it's my first day and I'm scared. This is what we do.
When I watched that, when I was reading the article and they said that one shooting was from an officer who had been on the force for 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
4 hours and you're in the shooting? What is this, training day? Like, what it is, part of it, I think, is people not accepting that the humanity of other people.
Right.
If just like, I get it. Being a police officer is a scary job. It can be dangerous. You don't know if you're going to come home some days. I understand that. But also, just like you want to come home, these people want to come home too. I don't want to, for a traffic stop. 25% of these shootings are for traffic stops. I'm looking at the stats again. Let me see. Of the officers involved in deadly shootings of unarmed Black people over the last 5 years, 13 were charged with murder. Okay, it says, let's see. There have been over 80 cases, but 13 were charged and only 2 were found guilty. So this is what I'm saying, or how I agree with you, because while 2 were found guilty, how many settlements were settled out?
Some that we don't even know about.
And I understand the families wanting to get, compensated for it. Like Breonna Taylor's mom got what was it, 12 million? I understand the families want to be compensated. It's like as soon as you get that money, and they make sure that they pay that money before trials, so that by the time the trials come, it's like, well, I mean, they done. Hey,
like it's like blood money. We done gave you blood money,
literally.
And this is why, and I'm gonna put this out here because it really made me mad. Because besides all the police brutality, the thing where oh my God, what is her name from the Black Lives Matter organization?
The leader, I don't know, I can't think of her name.
Oh God, I think it starts with a C.
You gonna make me Google it because I can't remember.
Girl. Besides this, we wouldn't have to take these settlements and really make them pay if these movements are doing what they're supposed to be doing. If we're donating this, we can support the family our own selves. Like, hey, here's something, you probably couldn't pay for the funeral, and we can send you to go to the court trials and pay for the lawyer. This is what that money should be used for.
Right.
This is how you protect your people. This is how we get our people off the street and stop being homeless. What are y'all using this for? I didn't know that a lot of these people that were flying out, that were speaking on behalf of their children that passed, are paying for their own hotels and their own flights and their own lawyers. And you got these people out here, and you got an organization, and you telling us to send money, but where's it going?
Right.
We don't need to take the settlement because we got our own people. What we want is the justice.
Yes, I completely agree. Oh, I'm sorry. I just happened to look up. I knew that was going to happen. Don't mind the limited. They done struck me. Limited. Immediately. Just happened to look up. Like, of course. But right. When we are donating these funds and things like that, there should be some understanding, some accountability of where these funds are going. But even beyond trying to understand, even beyond donating to these causes or these different movements, we all need to take some personal responsibility. Talking to myself, where's camera looking at myself.
Yes.
We all have to take some personal responsibility and start contacting our people that we have elected as senators and governors and congressmen, and really going back to old school, sending letters, sending emails, calling these offices and making complaints, especially when things like this are happening. Luckily with this officer she was charged, however, and pretty quickly compared to the past.
I would hate to say, I wonder if it's because she's a woman.
I mean, there is always some bias to that too, just like with the lady that ran up in Botham John's house and killed him.
Charged
and sent trial. She didn't get anything, but
yeah.
Part there is always that bias as well.
Mm-hmm. It's probably a bias of, it's a woman. So and that's still not right. What makes this one quicker? Will we have to send y'all out?
I will say this: there was a charge brought pretty quickly for this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of charges brought up, I wanted to also speak on the soldier in South Carolina. In case you all did not know, he did end up having a charge. I'm gonna read the article for you. A white Army non-commissioned officer depicted in that viral video accosting and shoving a black man in a South Carolina neighborhood has been charged with third-degree assault. Jonathan Pentland, 42, was charged on Wednesday and listed as detained in Richland County Jail and issued a personal recognizance bond, according to the jail records, which did not show him having an attorney. He also has since put up a GoFundMe. He has since put up a GoFundMe. I saw that I want to say this morning on the Instagram. But yeah.
GoFundMe for what?
As a matter of fact, let me see if I can pull it up. Look, I be like, let me find the receipts. You know how I am. Jonathan Pentland GoFundMe. Hi, Russ. Shout out to Russell Earl in the chat, one of our Patreons. Excuse me. Excuse me. Where did it go? It says $400,000 GoFundMe for legal fees and retirement. Yes. As of right now, I don't see him having any money on it. But It is available from what I am seeing.
I guess it doesn't baffle me because I mean, people make GoFundMe's for anything at this point. You know, people making GoFundMe's on behalf of people and people don't even get it. So I guess he doing it for himself. So I was like, okay, you know, I wouldn't take that serious. Like a GoFundMe, what? For what? For assaulting somebody? Like
for
you have to pay for your lawyer?
For coming up there thinking that you captain, you are the police chief of your, I don't know, community watch program. I don't understand. I don't.
It's, you know, I definitely am feeling grateful this week. You know, I'm grateful and thankful for my life, my family's life, because it's so much going on. And sometimes, like, it's unfortunately that these things are being brought back up and they continue to happen and to the forefront. But it's like, it's also fortunate for us to know these stories. But I'm like really thankful because I'm like, we complain about so much and we get into this petty stuff. And there's some real things that's really going on. And it may not affect us directly. We may not think it affects us directly, but indirectly, it's still affecting us. You know, it's affecting us in a really bad way. And I pray for change, but I know it's going to really take time because at this point, I feel mocked. I feel mocked as a Black person. Mm-hmm. I feel like at this point now it's just like, and we're going to do it again, and we're going to do it again. Like that's just how I'm feeling. You know, like. I don't feel like they're taking this serious.
I completely agree, and this is why I have, if you check in the description box, I have various links. I have links to, if you want to contact your senators and your congressmen, how to find out who they are and how to contact them is all down in the description box. I have links to various activist organizations if you want to go and support. But also, I have links to to therapy for Black girls and to therapy for Black men, because this is trauma that we're seeing this week alone. 4 or 5 stories, and I'm supposed to be able to walk outside and walk down the street with my son and just feel comfortable,
right?
And this again this is what I'm talking about with it's psychological warfare, it's physical, it's blatant warfare, but we need to also be protecting our mental health, because this is not okay to see, especially when it's coming from the people that are supposed to be protecting you.
Right. Yeah, it's you, and you, as much as you're doing the research and stuff, you need that time away from it to just get back into your mental state, you know what I'm saying? Because it takes a toll on you. All of this coming left and right, it really does. You don't really realize how much it takes a toll on you, but it really does. And you really have to stay prayerful and then do other things outside of it. You know what I'm saying? Please stay up with the know-alls and how you can help and how you can grow from this. And like you just giving the information on how to contact our senators and stuff. I'm looking at it now, and it's like that's some great information, because I didn't, even though there's Google there, I'm like, I didn't think about starting that, like to write a senator about my thoughts on how to improve, you know? Mm-hmm. But it's like they asked us to vote, so we should be able to write you.
And the thing is, it's important, and we're saying it's important because if it wasn't, they wouldn't be changing they wouldn't be having these voter suppression laws. They wouldn't be starting to, because now that people are waking up and realizing that, okay, we do have a voice and we need to use our voice, and these are some ways that we can use it, they're going to try to shut it down. Which is why things are happening like they're happening.
Oh yeah, that's big right now in Georgia.
Which is why, and we need to stay talking about it, stay mobilized, stay on their necks.
Mm-hmm.
We have to stay on.
Change the voting laws and come up with rules. You can't vote if no. But cut the foolery. Yeah, they're starting up that a lot now. And I didn't realize till I got a text message, because you know how they send all those text messages and phone calls during the voting thing, and I got it again. I said, "What's this?" And it's like you have to go out there and make sure our voice is heard, because they're trying to stop us from voting. So I looked into it a little bit more, and I'm like, "Wow!" There's like, yeah, the Republicans are really pushing this law, and I'm like, really. Really.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and it's blatant, but I think that as a people, sometimes we get, like you said, we get distracted by this other stuff, and all of this stuff is happening this week, and then next week little baby gonna break up with whoever he dating this week, and everyone's gonna forget about it. But we cannot forget about it. We
right.
cannot stop being on these people's necks. So these links that are in my description box this week will here out continue to be in my description box, because I already have my whole little template. I got all the links down there that you need. These links will also remain in the description box, even if it's something. And don't just look at the links, people.
Because I have the therapy for Black girls already.
Oh yes.
Following Dr. Joy, she's really, really good, who created that. So
I actually found my therapist from therapy from for Black girls.
yes,
I went on there and found someone that I could telecommunicate with. She lined up with my insurance, and there you go. It's simple. It's very simple.
I've had two, because every therapist is not going to fit you.
Mhm.
Like a mate, it's like finding a mate. You got to find the right therapist for you. So I went through two, and I was like, okay, all right, this one is for me. And I was happy going through that website. Like, it was really, really helpful, especially because I didn't have my therapist anymore from New York, and I moved to Georgia. So it was a really, really helpful site. And I didn't know they had one for Black men. I should have known, but
but look, for anyone, Black therapy, first of all, the generation before us might not have believed in the power of therapy, but therapy is needed, especially with, again, all this trauma that we're seeing when you swipe your phone open, and it's like person shot, a person that could have easily been your brother, uncle, cousin, sister, niece, nephew. Mickey, I'm finna bring you in. Boxing D Killer says
I'm gonna
we need
head out. I just wanted to speak and say, thank you so much for using your platform to spread this. I'm happy I put alive.
I'm glad you made it.
I missed so many, so I'm just gonna go back and keep it open on my computer. Okay.
Thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome. No problem.
Botson says we need to do an audit on policemen that have piles of negative reports. I completely agree. And like the article we were saying earlier, many of these police officers have multiple complaints, have been in multiple shootings. Let me find the statistic again, but some of them, again, multiple complaints from the community that they're policing. So if these people are telling you that they are mishandling their power, what is the consequence? Where is the accountability? Mickey, thank you for joining. What would you like to say today in regards to this topic?
Well, I came in kind of late on your live. Have you been following the case, the Derek Chauvin, the trial and stuff?
I have been following it via Shade Room, because for my mental health, I can't sit through and watch the case. It's, to me, the ultimate gaslighting, and it bothers me. Mickey, you still there? Uh-oh, did we lose you? While we get Mickey back real quick, I want to say thank you to Boxing D Killer for jumping in. I did not say it, but thank you to Boxing D Killer, one of our Patreons. Let me remove her and put her back in. Hold on one second. If you all have been following the case, the Derek Chauvin case, what are y'all thoughts? I am aware that he decided to invoke his Fifth Amendment right to not testify, which I expected as much, because what can you say? Anything that you say when we see this 8-minute plus tape is damning, Yeah. Mickey, are you there? Right. Get him out of there. Right. I definitely think that was expected. I did not expect him to go. Like I said, we see it. What can you say? You know, because it's not him going up there and giving his side of the story. It's also the prosecutors being able to cross-examine you and ask you, so after 3 minutes, what were you thinking? After 4 minutes, what was in your head? After 5 minutes, and you've shifted your weight onto him even more, and the crowd is telling you, you know, to get off of him, then what? After 6 minutes, when he's calling and gasping for his mother, you get what I'm saying? Well, if he were to get on that stand, if he was to get on that stand and recount that, it would be completely damning. As if video evidence is not damning enough. And speaking of video evidence, I wanted to say this. Hold on one second. Moments with Mickey. I'm gonna drop the link again if you like. You can try to come back in. I don't know what happened. But speaking of video evidence, excuse me, I felt like back in what year was it? What year was it when we started getting these body cams? We thought that getting the body cams would help to bring along convictions, and it's disheartening when it's not. You know, when these images are being released, we're seeing the altercations, we're seeing how it went down, and there's still no convictions being made. I do not want to speak negatively about this trial. Closing arguments are on Monday, so you know we should have a result by, you know, I'll say the end of next week at the latest. I don't know why it would take that long, but let's just say the end of next week at the latest. But what's sad for me to admit is that I never have hope in these trials. I never do. And that's disheartening. That's upsetting for these trials to make it, you know, through the process. And even still, after countless times of seeing these trials and seeing nothing come of it, I don't have hope. And I pray that this one is different. I mean, again, 8 minutes of evidence, but I don't know. Let's see. Mr. Moran says he's not going to try to make himself look worse. His defense probably agreed as well. Yes. Boxing says the defense attorney is pissing me off. Mr. Moran says the defense attorney is slow. Keep asking the same questions in circles. Well, that's a tactic, you know. The tactic is if I ask you the same question but in a different way and you answer differently, then that negates your credibility. So it's a tactic. Apparently, it's a tactic that's not working, but it's a tactic. Moments with Mickey says, I tuned in yesterday because I felt guilty for not following along, but my mental really can't handle it. I don't understand why something we all saw has to be proven to this extent. First of all, Moments with Mickey, what I want to say is do not feel guilty for protecting your mental peace in any capacity. That's the first thing. Regardless of what anybody on social media says that you should or should not be doing in regards to watching the trial or watching the various videos, protect your mental health, because like we were saying, this trauma is real and we have to go out and interact with people on a day-to-day. And I don't know, you know, what you do or who you have to interact with, but at the same time, I know for me, I can't I can't sit up here and see this type of stuff and then go on and be the jolly person that, you know, y'all see here. So that's the first thing. Second thing, I don't understand why this trial is taking this long either. It's been going on for 2 weeks. It's been going on for 2 weeks. It should be an open and shut case, which is why I hope that we have a result if closing arguments on Monday, I mean, shoot, we should have a result by the end of Monday, really, but by Tuesday, you know what I'm saying? But it's so much more difficult when you have those 12 jurors in the room and you have to prove without a reasonable doubt. Mr. Moore says, I feel you on this. It's so sad and annoying. Yes. Yes, just like with the Zimmerman trial. They went through the whole trial and it ended with a slap in the face. And that was the catalyst for what we began to see. Now, I don't know, that was what, 2012. I'll never forget, because I was graduating college when everything happened with him. And I do know that at that time, the social media that we know today was beginning to form. I remember Instagram might have been a couple years old. Twitter had been around for a few years. And so, the social media that we are accustomed to was forming. And that's how I was becoming more informed about what was going on, because I was not then, and I'm still not now, a avid news watcher. I protect my mental peace. But I feel like that was the catalyst of what we are beginning to see. And he wasn't even a police officer. You know what I'm saying? So it started with this civilian and has continued on through law enforcement and has just gotten progressively worse. Oh, I see we got a super chat. Oh, I got something special for y'all today. Hold up. Shout out for the super chat. I really appreciate that, because you already know what YouTube gonna be on. But hey, shout out.
Money, honey, 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 honey. Y'all giving money, honey, 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 honey. Money, honey, 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 honey. Got that money out. Got that money out.
Hey, yes, thank you for the super chat. Ow, hold on. Y'all in here making it rain. Look, I'm so lame. Don't judge me. But thank you for the super chat, Peach. He says, protect your chickens and your mentals. Yes. I was up here jamming to my little money song. Hold on. Girl, yeah, I got the Ush books. Get you some B bills. Y'all like them B bills? Hold on. Yeah. I'm so goofy. I've been waiting for a super chat. Y'all don't even know. I'm like, somebody send me a super chat. Oh, I needed that laugh. Okay. Okay. What was we talking? I lost my whole train of thought. What we said, well, protect your chickens and protect your mental. In whatever way that is, you have to protect it. You guys. And I pray that y'all are out here. Like I said, check the description box. I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. Because honestly, like I said, I did not want to come on here and have this heavy discussion, but I could not come on live and just sit here and kiki and joke. Say one more time, then. Okay, hold on.
Money, honey, 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 honey. Y'all giving money, honey, 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 honey. Money, honey, 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 honey. Got that money out. Got that money out.
Hey. I'm glad y'all like my super chat song, honey. Like them B bills, Oh my goodness. But thank y'all for coming in here and tuning in with me, and with this heavy topic talking with me about it, please check the description box. There, like I said, there's a ton of information in there. This information will be pinned in my videos moving forward. So please check the description box. Do what you can. Contact your local officials and make sure that you are knowledgeable. There is a link in there specifically to know your rights, because one thing that I did find interesting in that video that I was showing to y'all earlier about the man who was able to just drive off, something that was apparent was that he was very much so aware of his rights. He was saying things like double blue. Do you know what double blue means? But apparently calling that did make the officers have some type of, on top of that, but make them have some type of cognizance and of who he or how they treated him moving forward. So there is a link in the description box specifically to the ACLU to know your rights. The ACLU is the American Civil Liberties Unit. So you can go and check their website out. I have links to Leading the Fight Against Brutality, again, to contact your local officials. Black Gun Owners Association. Yes, please go. All of that as well. We also have our Second Amendment right. Please check out the information down in the description box and share it with others. And please, like, it's not like everything helps towards the movement. Every little step helps towards the movement, and it's not just enough to see it. We need to start doing things about it. So thank y'all so much. Before we get out, we got another super chat. Y'all just like the song.
Money, honey, 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 honey. Y'all giving money, honey, 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 honey. Money, honey, 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 honey. Got that money out. Got that money out.
Just like the song. I know it. Thank y'all again. Also in the description box, just in case you did not know, is all of the information to support the channel. Thank you again to everyone who has sent super chats. If you would like to join my Patreon, the link is down below. If you would like to buy some merch, it is down below in the description box. If you would like to buy a custom Bestow styling unit, again, the description box. Before we get out, I'm gonna just play a couple of my commercials, and I will see y'all in the next video. The next video is dropping tomorrow. I'm going to do a premiere for it. It's part 2 of my Las Vegas vlog. If you have not seen part 1, go check it out. Part 2 is going to be dropping tomorrow. My Patreons have already been able to see it. It has been up on the Patreon for days now, but I had to let them see it first, because I'm saying they the ones with the money, honey. But it will be dropping tomorrow. I think I haven't decided what time, so y'all be on the lookout. I have the notification bells on for that. But I'll see y'all in the chat tomorrow then. Remember, shout out to my Patreon. Y'all are the real MVPs. I'm going to be trying to do some special things for y'all in this new year, because y'all have definitely been riding with me.
If you would like to join my Patreon, it's very simple. All you have to do is go to www.patreon.com/BeStokedStyling and make your pledge. $5, $10, or $25. Currently, I'm trying to get to 20 Patreons, you guys. So make sure you help me reach my goal by clicking the link down in my description box and joining my Patreon. You do not want to miss out on the early access to my videos. Don't forget to order your custom Bestowed styling merch. That's right, we have merch. Just click the link down below in the description box and order your Bestowed styling merch today.